Hey guys, it is me, Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is January 29th, Monday at about 1:30, and I'm just getting some groceries at Walmart, and my car just turned off. Been having a lot of problems with the engine. I made a video yesterday on the Cuban embassy attack, and more evidence of microwaves being involved. But I said there's one thing I wanted to make a correction on, because they're talking about mass hysteria in the article, which is just propaganda, and the scientists who they're more like sociologists who came up with that, and they hadn't even talked to the State Department workers. Let me put my seatbelt on. But I said one thing and I meant to say another. I was saying that maybe it was like 10% of targeted individuals who had been exposed to this information before they started being hit, like before they started being targeted. I meant to say 2% on that video. I meant to say 2%, and actually saying 2% would be very, 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 very generous to any person who's saying like, oh, it's people who they're into the conspiracy theories or whatever, and then they start feeling like they're being hit by something. So I would really say 2% or below, a guesstimation of how many target individuals have been exposed to the information of targeting and gang stalking, and then and you see my engine is like shaking, so it's like shaking my whole body, like it feels like my engine's just about to fall out of my car. So I just wanted to make a correction on that. The mass hysteria theory for targeted individuals in general, and the mass hysteria theory for the State Department workers is ludicrous. It's completely ludicrous, and it's completely propaganda. And I wanted to add that, I've talked to, because I'm a targeted individual, a so-called target individual. I think that we need a better name, but it's kind of what identifies us to the public at large. It helps them to focus on the actual issue, to just say, I am a target individual, because they understand that term. But I wanted to say that, in my time as a target individual, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of targeted individuals. And if you count like the videos that I've watched of other target individuals, probably like over, then I would have seen or heard what target individuals are saying in the thousands, in like 1,500 target individual testimonies. But I've talked to personally, hundreds of target individuals. And in all of the ones that I've personally talked to, or have seen testimonies online, on Facebook, on YouTube, 0%. There are actually 0% that I can remember, 0% who have been exposed to the information of targeted individuals, like who have. And what I mean by that is, like, okay, let's say a target individual was not experiencing any gang stalking or any effects from external weapons, like directed energy weapons. So they read about target individuals and gang stalking, and then maybe a couple months later they start getting hit and affected by these phenomena. 0% have I come across as a target individual. The whole time that I have been a target individual, I have never come across that. I've never come across that situation. Every target individual that I've talked to or looked at their videos on YouTube, they have been taught. They they started getting the effects from the weapons, or they started being gang stalked, and then sought out the information. And that is a very, very important point. It's a very important point. So when I said 10% on the video, I was like, maybe 10% have been exposed to the information, and then thought that they were victims of the phenomenon, or survivors of the phenomenon of non-consensual human experimentation, gang stalking. That 10%, I meant to say 2% in the video, and then even when I say 2% as a guesstimation, that's like a very, very generous, guesstimation to people with this theory that, it's just people who, it's mass hysteria, and they hear about this, and so then their mind is kind of thinking that they might come up against it, and they start seeing it in society. I really personally, even giving that guesstimation of maybe 2%, have been exposed to the information before actually experiencing it in their life. Personally, I believe that it's actually zero. It's about 0%. It's maybe like 0 to 1%, and that's only because, by chance they happen across this information and would just look at it, and then maybe later on in their life were targeted. But I have come across 0% where that is the case, where it's always they target individuals, and like in my case, I experienced the high-pitched ringing in my ears, V2K, like body aches, body burns, and then it took me months and months to research and find out what it was called. So not having looked into it at all, and that's what I experienced when talking to other target individuals. So I wanted to make that correction, because I said 10% and I meant 2%, but I think even 2% is pretty high. I don't think that there are a lot of people who just read about this and then just start experiencing it. Most of the people that I see, and most of the people that I talk to personally, it's like they're not looking into this stuff at all. And it's more important. It's a more important point that the State Department workers, Canadian and American, were definitely not looking into target individuals and gang stalking. They were gang stalked and targeted by directed energy weapons. Like their belongings were switched around in their homes, their cars were messed with, and stuff like that. And now the article makes this giant leap. The actual sociologist who said that it's kind of a conspiratorial mindset, and these State Department workers were obsessed. It was saying that the 24 State Department workers were somehow obsessed with the Cold War era Cuba, in which some Cuban agents messed with things in people's homes and actually did do gang stalking way back then. And that's ridiculous. The 24 State Department workers would be obsessed with the Cuban Cold War era of things that were going on, and then just kind of have it in their mind and be scared of sonic-based weapons, which I, as target individuals, we know it's directed energy weapon systems. It's microwave-based weapons. But it was a good article, because it really gave a good definition of the microwave hearing effect, and that's what most of us experience with the high-pitched sound in the ears, with V2K and things like that. But I did want to make that correction. I meant to say 2%, and I think even 2% is very, very, very generous. It's just a kind of just-in-case guesstimation, but I've experienced 0% of target individuals coming across this information and then being faced and confronted and hit with the weapons and experiencing gang stalking. And I've experienced 0% in the hundreds of target individuals that I've personally talked to, and probably the thousands that I've seen their testimonies. Okay, so, and just kind of wanted to give an update. I went to Walmart to get some groceries, and my engine's gonna start shaking again. And I you know, I went to the convenience store first, and I was like, oh man, I'm not getting any vehicular stalking. I didn't see one light car, you know, no authority figures. And then I started to go down the street to go to, you know, the Walmart, and I did get a couple. There were maybe like 4 on the main street, and then a sheriff's car kind of crossing it at a street light. So my vehicular stalking and patrolling and stuff is way down. It's not that bad. And after I went and knocked on that guy's door, I want to try and make this light because my engine is like shaking, so I want to turn off the engine. But, and you know, after I went to to my neighbor's house and knocked on his door really early in the morning, and like the homeowners association was coming over to both of our apartments, that has trailed off. His harassment has actually trailed off in the apartment, and he is no longer doing that. So, you know, sometimes we have to push these people back. That's why I wanted to talk to him. That's why I just wanted to talk to him, because if you just sit there and, you know, there's nobody coming up and talking to him, there's nobody questioning them about anything, they feel more comfortable doing this bizarre stuff. So, you know, I just think, you know, the easiest thing is just to like ask them about it, just to ask people who are doing weird stuff, what's this weird stuff, you know. And he wouldn't come to the door, but, you know, eventually I went and banged on the door early in the morning and kind of caused the, you know, thing with the homeowners association, and he got uncomfortable. I don't think he wants to talk to a bunch of people coming to his door all the time. So it made the whole thing uncomfortable for him, and he actually stopped. So for now, my gang stalking, vehicular stalking, is not too bad. I'm rolling into to where I live, so I kind of want to, you know, face the camera away from that. But other than that, guys, I just wanted to do that update because I felt kind of like, you know, 10% is way too high. I meant to say 2%, but even 2% is high. And just the whole conspiracy theory of mass hysteria, you know, to put into place of new technologies and new challenges and corruptions in our society, is really, really evil. And I think that most people who tout those theories, you know, just like the sociologists who did in that article and who did for the State Department workers, they don't even really have anything to do with the situations. They don't ever meet the people who it's happened to. They're kind of just paid to throw out these asinine theories, you know, to just throw out any kind of truth, you know, propaganda. I mean, it is by definition propaganda, because it's just something that they don't know anything about it. They haven't met the people, but they throw out, you know, they throw out something like, oh, it's mass hysteria. But so I'm still, you know, I'm still getting hit really badly with the electronic torture, especially when I sleep. I'm not sure what kind of brain injuries have occurred, but it seems like the vehicular stalking, the gang stalking and patrolling, for me, it has backed off a lot for now. It has been pretty low, except for my neighbor. So I don't know why that is. I'm hoping it's because, you know, they're pulling back. You know, I'd like to think that and be positive. It could be because they're putting more resources on other target individuals, and they've kind of gone through this sensitization with me, and so they think they're done with the sensitization, so they've kind of pulled off a little bit. Or it could be because I have not been responding to my voice to skull for like months. Like I don't get in the car and talk to them or yell at them anymore. My remote surveillance people, because it's useless to do that. So it's been a long time with that, and they may not be able to get as much justification for patrolling and gang stalking if they don't have something readily like that to make it look like you're crazy. But I'm getting to about 15 minutes, guys. It is January 29th, 2018. This is Kyle. Just wanted to make that correction to that video. I'll be putting this video out and that other one today. and trying to put out more information as we go, guys. All right, love y'all.